Namu probably has the longest archaeological sequence of any site in all of Canada. The earliest radiocarbon date is 10,000 years ago, which in terms of calibrated dates makes it 11,000 real years ago. And it goes from there right on up to the historic period. It doesn't have too much to do with what were probably the earliest movements into the New World, however. That it's important in that respect, in that it is one, the earliest levels anyway, it's one of a series of sites on the coast of BC, in the Yukon, and in Alaska, in which the oldest layers contain very similar assemblages of flake stone tools. And they also lack microblade technology. Now, these tools are spear points and knives made by, flaking both faces of an artifact. That's one way of making tools. There are drills or perforators. There are small skin scrapers. There are various types of large core scrapers that could have been used in woodworking as well as in working hides. Now, what these similarities indicate at this time period, which would be around 12,000 years ago, 13,000 real years ago, it really indicates the presence of the same culture. From out of central Alaska through the tundra in the Yukon, out onto the northwest coast and down the coast, which was also tundra at that time period. Now, why would people move out of central Alaska and the Yukon onto the coast? What I think is that it was caribou that were the incentive for people to move. We had a tundra environment all the way from Alaska through the Yukon, down through the mountain passes near Skagway and out onto the coast, the Queen Charlotte Islands, when sea levels were a lot lower at that time. And we know that caribou are found there on the coast by 11,500 years ago. And so I think this was probably the incentive. Now, in Alaska, this culture is called the Namu complex. And we know from the work up there by David Yesner and other archaeologists that this was a hunting culture, that people were adapted to the Arctic environment, they had an Arctic toolkit, and they were hunters.